The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Today, Amber and Scott discuss Maddie's secret. Fun or really not so fun fact, the secret isn't what you think it is. Or is it? And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
See how we're not a movie review show?
That's true, we're not.
Yeah. We're going to pause that here at the beginning.
Yeah, there's a lot of what would you do's in this film. So let's start with an overview and then we'll go ahead and dig in and we can do some reviewing up front per your request. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. We are talking about Maddie's Secret. And Maddie's Secret is about this person who is a dishwasher at a content studio that focuses on making food content. And she loves her job as a dishwasher, but has aspirations of doing more and being a chef and profiling all of the food that she makes. But she wants to earn her way up the right way, not take any leaps. She wants to earn it. And she makes a video one night because her husband says, I'm going to film you making food. She's like, no, I don't want to. And he films her, he edits it, they publish it, and she gets 600,000 views. And now she is a hit and everyone loves her and she has all these new opportunities at work to be a content producer showcasing how to make food. And we'll start there. There's a little bit more down the road, but we'll start there.
We're gonna start with this review thing. So this film is a parody of a 1986 made-for-TV movie starring Meredith Baxter Birney.
Back when she was a Baxter Birney.
Yeah.
Not just a Baxter.
Yeah. Now she's.
And before she was gay. Well, she was always gay, but before she came out as gay.
Yeah, called Kate's Secret. Number one, what the hell? Number two, also, what the hell?
It is very obscure.
So.
And the premise of Kate's Secret was that she was a bulimic housewife. And that's the part that I skipped in our overview. Long story short, it turns out Maddie is bulimic, but she has pursued this career in food. And once given the opportunity to do something really special, she buckles under the stress and reverts back to the bulimic behavior she had as a young child.
Okay. For anyone who's not seen this movie, Maddie is played by John Early.
Okay, so this is where it gets confusing. So I saw the trailer, and I assumed this was a main character played by a trans man playing Maddie. And when the film goes on, I'm assuming this, but there's a little confusion here and there. And her husband is talking about them having a baby, and I thought, okay, well that's interesting. And then there's a sex scene. And I expect it to go a certain way, and it doesn't.
Well, even before the sex scene.
Okay.
Very early, like right near the beginning when Maddie is running to work and then is getting changed.
Right.
And she's like halfway undressed.
I expected to see something, right?
As she was pulling up her pants, there was a very brief shot of her underweared crotch.
Yes.
Like clearly them saying, hey, look here. There's something not right.
Well, it wasn't not right. Like, I was looking there expecting to see a little bulge, but there was not a bulge. But this was very clearly a masculine physique. So I'm increasingly confused over, is this character a trans man?
No. I can answer that question.
Well, yeah. We know after the fact, after attending this film and
No, I know from what John Early said about the character.
Well, yeah, you didn't get that from the movie. That's what I'm saying, is getting information outside of the movie.
He just literally said, I want to play this role.
Yeah, he wanted to play a woman. So
He wanted to be told he was pretty.
We need to to
beautiful.
It takes a while, at least it took me a while, for me to realize, okay, we are just supposed to buy into this being a woman because this character talks about her childhood as a little girl, and we talk about this character faking a pregnancy and wanting to get pregnant. So it took a while to understand that we are just supposed to see this character being played by a man as a woman and not a trans man, not anything. And it was weird because there was kind of mixed messages in the fact that Maddie's best friend was a lesbian and then took her to this queer gym where they're like, oh, we're the queer gym, come hang out with us. So then there was kind of confusing.
Oh, Maddie was like, but am I coming as an ally? I.e., I'm not queer or anything that would be involved in that gym.
Oh, is that what ally meant? I didn't understand that part. Okay. So, yeah, after a couple of confusing scenes, then I realized, okay, we are just supposed to see this male actor as him playing a female role.
I was fully expecting, in the literal last 5 seconds of the movie, something to happen, and Maddie looks at somebody who says, like, you do understand that I'm actually a dude, right? And then just cut away. Like just that. I was expecting something like that. It's like, you should have realized it the whole time, and you did realize it the whole time, and it wasn't. And it was insanely distracting throughout the entire movie because you're sitting here thinking about this subplot that literally doesn't exist.
And here's the weird thing. This film was shot in 4 weeks in Los Angeles, an independent film. And all the while I'm watching it, I'm thinking this feels like a student film that was shot over a weekend. It is the most basic film. And I don't mean film from the filming style or anything like that, but there's contradictions in the script. By one time, Maddie has this opportunity to be on the show, but she doesn't know anything about the show. But then it turns out her husband loves the show. But it turns out Maddie doesn't have a TV, but her husband watches the show. So like weird inconsistencies like that. And there's just super weird whiplash moments with the character.
Yeah, and lots of characters.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, I'm your best friend. I hate you. I love you. I hate you. I love you.
Yeah, it really is. It's like
what?
You go from a 10 to a 1 back to a 10, back to a 1. There's like no middle ground.
And some of the acting is so campy, but the weird part is it's not consistently like that throughout. So you have these just overly dramatic, almost bordering on ridiculous moments, and then followed by a really moving, serious type topic. So you can't just wrap your head around, is this just a campy comedy or is it something else? It was very, very difficult to stay in the moment because of the whiplash with everything.
I could not possibly agree more. I can't recommend this movie based on that. Now, I suppose if you go in knowing that
what we just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go in knowing that the main character is a woman played by a man, this is not a trans thing, and that fact is irrelevant to the movie itself. If you go in knowing all of that, I do think this is a much better film.
I agree. And admittedly, I did not pay that close of attention to realize that. I don't know if it was evident in the trailer and I just missed it. But yeah, if you go in with just the fact that this is a story about a woman and accept that it's a woman that happens to be played by a male actor, then I don't think you would be like I was, where I'm always waiting for the next shoe to drop. Like, okay, I'm waiting for the twist. I'm waiting for the reveal. I'm waiting for whatever's going to happen here, which never happened because you weren't supposed to ever think that she was a guy.
Yeah, see, you talk about the sex scene. When her husband goes down on her, I was completely expecting at some point to see like a vague shadow of a head bobbing up and down. Like, I thought, surely this is where they're going to tip that hat. Yeah,
and actually, I do hope that people who see this film know more about it than you and I did, because then you don't get lost into the where is this really going, what's really happening, and you just start the film understanding that this is just a female character named Maddie and this is her story, and you don't get caught up in the fact that this is very obviously a man.
Okay. For the rest of this episode, we are not going to hit that topic again. I don't think we need to.
No, and there's a lot of good what would you do.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this as though Maddie was played by any female actor.
Yeah,
whatever.
Maddie's just a character. So
Maddie's just a character.
We got our 2 cents out about our experience with the film, and if you all haven't seen it yet, going in, I'm sure your experience will be different than ours was.
Yeah, again, I think it's a much better movie if you can go into it with that level of acceptance.
Yeah. So let's get to some what would you do's. The first one, I think, is where Maddie reluctantly publishes this video at the encouragement of her husband, and she goes in the next day, got 600,000 views on it, and is called up to the boss's office, who said, this is against your contract, right? You weren't supposed to do it. Anything you do is the ownership of the company. You have to take it down. And she's very apologetic because she wants a career. She wants to grow. And she's like, of course. And it turns out the boss is actually giving her a promotion, saying, it's so good, we want to use you as on-air talent. And the company culinary studio is called, I was going to let you say what the name was.
Gourmet.
Gourmet. And as in maybe, gourmet,
yeah,
maybe. And this is an opportunity for her. So she needs to take it down, and it needs to be official gourmet content. So what would you do if you were Maddie, either being encouraged to film that first video by your husband or being called up to the boss's office and getting in trouble?
First of all, she films a video about a smashed eggplant. Like her first content, and gets 600,000 views. Screw you, Maddie. Screw you, Maddie.
I would kill for 6.
That is
just 6 views. It's not 600,000. Just give me. I need 6, please. Someone give me 1. 6 people, give me 1.
So she knows what she wants, but it's like she wants the limelight, but she doesn't.
Well, she has, and this is something that I mentioned a couple of minutes ago. She has this desire if she wants to earn it. So if you were just the dishwasher and happy being the dishwasher, and then overnight you were this success, there's a part of her that feels she doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Which goes way deeper than that moment, of course.
That is complete bullcrap. Like,
but that's not uncommon. A lot of people feel like they don't deserve something.
Yeah. Listen, you think everyone who gets famous and up there just stumbles into it? No. And many times you get something. Like, her husband produces content. Like, that's what he does. So he knows exactly what to do.
Yeah, he made really nice edits to it. Like, you cut right after the loudest sound. So they sizzled something and then they edited it. So yeah, he brought some editing prowess to the final product.
That's just using your resources.
Yeah. If you had an editor as a spouse and you had these aspirations, heck yeah, tap into that resource for sure.
The fact that she even argued with it at first was, I thought, ridiculous. Like,
well, but
he can get you to where you want to be, or at least a much better chance of doing so.
Okay, as a guy, I understand why you made that comment, but it is insanely misguided. You don't understand why she objected. She objected because she didn't like the way she looked. And that is a huge part of being a woman, is your body goes through changes, or you gain weight, or you lose weight. So much of your worth as a human being when you're a woman is attached to how you look. Okay, and that for her goes, we find out later in the film, goes way back to childhood when she was like 7 or something, and her mom taught her to be bulimic. So she doesn't like how she looks.
Let me note for a second that part of the reason she doesn't like the way she looks is because she's played by a man. But
no, we weren't going there.
I know. But I'm not allowed to not take the humor shots. That was low-hanging fruit. And I'll take it. I do get it. I do. But which one do you care about more? Like,
yeah, it might be nice.
I don't like the way I sound.
It might be nice to be a guy. It must be nice to be a guy.
I don't like the way I sound. My own voice.
Not liking the way you sound is not the same as looking the way you look. And unfortunately, you are only going to have so much understanding about this because you are of the opposite gender.
I don't like the way I look either, but
yeah, I'm not saying guys can't feel that way, but it's not the same as the female experience. A guy, a guy was, oh, you're smart, or as you get older, you get distinguished. Women get old. Women get fat.
Yeah,
women are like, are
you
wearing that? No one ever says to a guy, are you wearing that? They say it to women all the time. Are you wearing that?
I want to say that it's a symptom of spotlight syndrome, except unfortunately, it's not. Because
can you explain what that is?
Oh, when you believe the light is shining bright on you and people care about you way more than they actually do.
Well, if you're creating content, you're asking people to look at you.
Well, yeah.
So that's not really applicable.
Well, if you would let me finish, you would have heard me say, yeah, I've seen online on the internet. I've seen how especially some guys talk to women. It's terrible. Like, I could use a lot of expletives. I'm trying to keep it clean here. So I do get that. Even within the movie, they were talking about how comments she was getting was Maddie the fatty and stuff like that. Like, I don't know.
And she wasn't fat. She just had the figure of a full-grown man. It's not like we were talking about an obese person. She just had the figure of a man. The question was, what do you do when either you get called up to the boss's office and you think you're in trouble, you've gotten 600,000 views overnight, and you're feeling really good, and then you get scared, and then you get reprimanded, and then you get this amazing opportunity. One of those.
There's no what would you do anywhere in there. You're an employee, your boss calls you up and he's talking to you. Like, there's no what would you do anywhere in there.
Okay, well, come up with your own then.
And the only what would you do would be if you're the boss and seeing this, how do you handle that? And probably about the exact way he did.
Okay, well, that fell flat. So
sorry, there just wasn't a what would you do there. It's like when you're an employee, what would you do is what you're told.
Okay, this is stimulating, folks, so bear with us. We'll try and get back on track. So Maddie is now given the stage. She's on camera, she's making recipes, she's feeling good. And there is this opportunity given to be the culinary artist for this TV show where it's a mock restaurant, kind of a reality show with a mock restaurant, but with real chefs. And she and the original talent at I forgot the name of the place. What is it? Quiz maybe? What is it? Culla maybe? What is the name of the place that she works? Quiz maybe? Culla maybe? What? It's the maybe.
Gore maybe.
Gore maybe. Gosh.
And I also want to note, like, there's a lot of parody here. I've never seen The Bear. I don't even really know
The Boar.
No, I've never seen The Bear. I don't really know exactly what it's about. But
is that a spoof?
I know it's an FX show.
So The Boar is a spoof of something real called The Bear?
Yeah, and it's a very popular show. I have no idea what it's about, and maybe I should look up. Intern, what is the show The Bear about?
The Bear follows a young elite chef who returns home to Chicago to run his family's struggling sandwich shop after a tragic death.
Okay, so moving on, she is getting successful, has the opportunity to compete with someone who was her idol at Gore Maybe, who is also up for this spot on The Boar. And she basically folds under the pressure of all of this. And she reverts back to what we learn later in the film is a childhood habit of bulimia. And her husband catches her in the act of throwing up. She doesn't want to admit what she's doing. So she says she's pregnant. Later out in the film, after this creates problems and hospitalization, her husband ultimately finds out that she is not pregnant. What would you do if you were the husband and you were told your wife was pregnant, and then after being hospitalized for bulimia and talking to doctors, not hearing it from your wife, you hear it from a doctor that she's not actually pregnant, she lied to you?
Pissed. I'm pissed. Especially because he's brought up the thing about the baby multiple times. Like, there was plenty of times that she could have thrown out a mea culpa and just didn't.
Yeah, even when she was initially hospitalized for bulimia and was given food restrictions and things like that. And he was like, are you sure that's okay for the baby? And are you sure this is okay for the baby? So yeah, multiple times given the opportunity, and she just shifts and changes the subject.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to get over.
Don't lie your spouse.
I understand not wanting to admit to someone you love and respect that, hey, I'm doing this to myself. I understand that, but come up with another reason. What would I do? I'd say I had food poisoning. I'd say I'd had the flu. I would not say I'm pregnant. There are so many ramifications about lying about that. Considering,
let me tell you that for sure they've had conversations about this, and based on his reaction.
Oh, at the beginning of the film, he said, "Oh, we starting a family."
Yeah, very clear that this is something he really wanted.
Yeah.
So
Even
you're
more
not just lying to him; you are lying to him about something that he desperately wants.
Yeah.
That makes it significantly worse.
Absolutely. So,
though I am a little curious about something. I am familiar with the general concepts of bulimia, but before she did the whole bulimia thing, she had scenes that I think could have been pulled out of the movie Saccharine that we saw recently.
That was good. People should see Saccharine, or at minimum listen to our episode on that.
I don't get that. Like, she just was like taking fistfuls of food and cramming them down her throat. Like, is that I get the eating and purging thing. Like, I understand that. But it was like feral. The way she did it on multiple occasions.
Yeah, it was very similar to the film Saccharine. I think there are levels to bulimia, and I'm sure that they span having a nice, elegant dinner and retreating to the restroom at the 5-star restaurant and throwing up, and also binge eating and just being very intense about it, like we saw with Maddie, just grabbing fistfuls of food. I'm sure it is all over the spectrum as to what that looks like.
Gold. I'm glad you do. I know a lot about a lot of things. I actually am way more versed in mental health disorders than anyone without a degree should be. But that's a blank area for me.
So she ultimately winds up.
I think it's compulsion. I don't understand compulsive disorders.
Okay.
That's one area I'm not. I don't have compulsive disorders.
Okay. So she winds up basically having a heart issue, getting sent to the hospital.
Yeah, she had a heart attack.
Yeah, and the doctor says, it's very clear you have bulimia. We see the signs of it. You need to go to a treatment program. And she goes there for at least several weeks, more than a month. And she winds up leaving that treatment facility at one point for a night because she is supposed to cook dinner for people associated with the boar. And what would you do if you were Maddie? You're in this treatment facility. Obviously, I have to think you've taken a sabbatical or a step back from your actual job so you can be there, live there for more than a month. But you still have this opportunity on the table with the boar. Do you just surrender it, or do you try and sneak out because they are not allowed to come and go? They're not allowed to use smartphones. They're not allowed to watch videos that might have exercise or eating.
They are allowed to use landlines, though.
Correct.
So she could have contacted them.
Oh, yeah, she could have. And that's why I'm saying, what would you do? You have this opportunity. You're basically in a competition with your now former coworker for this opportunity that could be amazing.
You just have to tell them, listen, I love this opportunity. I want this opportunity more than you can possibly imagine. But I have some personal circumstances that are going to make it impossible for me to take on this role right now. I would love to be considered for the next season.
Okay, so what would you do is you would stay in treatment and just disclose to them that you're not available and you're still interested in the future.
Unless you can know for a fact that you're not going to do some shit like she did. Then you say no, because now she's blown it up.
Well,
perfectly. Like you're not. That's it. You're done.
Okay.
You'll never get on.
Like she did.
She went full bulimic and basically had another seemingly, I don't know, it was a gastrointestinal event or something that left her in like at least intensive care, if not critical. Like you're not going to get picked at that point. Ever. Not for this season, not for next season, not for any season.
So, yes, unfortunately, one of the people involved with the boar walks in the bathroom on her, which, again, what would you do? Not open the bathroom in someone else's home if they didn't answer, but just kind of walking in. I thought, wow, that's wildly inappropriate.
Yeah, but you know what? That's why locks are on bathroom doors. If you're in there, lock it.
What would you do? Lock the door if you go to the bathroom.
I
and
would.
What would I do if I was a guest in someone's house? I would not open their bathroom door in their house without prolonged saying, "Are you okay?" No response kind of something.
In fairness, this is the first time they've been to the house. They weren't necessarily sure where the bathroom was or whether or not they had multiple bathrooms.
I don't know if anyone was confused. All I know is she opened the doors. In my opinion, I respect closed doors. So Maddie is taken back to the facility, and upon her return, she realizes her roommate passed away. And her roommate, the night before when she snuck out, basically said, "You can't do that. It's against the rules." And Maddie says, "Well, I'm doing it anyway." So her roommate decides to exercise. They're not allowed to exercise. So her roommate, Julie, starts kind of doing knee to elbow kind of exercises, and she's dead within a couple of hours when Maddie comes back.
Yeah, so
what would you do if you were Julie? Let's just take a step back. So Maddie's going to sneak out and you're her roommate and Maddie says, don't tell on me. What do you do if you're Julie? You've been rooming with this girl, Maddie. Everyone's there for a reason. Would you say anything?
Yeah, Julie's in the wrong ward. I could tell you. She might have an eating condition, but...
Well, I'm sure she does. There's no might about it.
But if you have this thing of like, oh, you're going to go break the rules, so I have to break the rules, like, it's dumb, especially when you know that what you're doing can be lethal. If you're Maddie, you just have to say, listen, I have to break the rules here or I will regret it for the rest of my life. I have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something that if I don't do it now, I may never get this opportunity again. I just need to be out for a few hours to make it happen. This isn't something I'm going to keep doing, but I will regret this for the rest of my life if I don't. And so I have to. And then Julie's probably like, you're not really supposed to break the rules, but I would think most people would understand at that point.
So when Maddie comes back and sees that Julie's stuff is gone from the room, she asks what's wrong with Julie. The nurse or the coordinator, whatever, basically says, we'll talk about it later. And Maddie runs around asking everybody, what happened to Julie? What happened to Julie? And someone says, Julie's dead. And Maddie feels responsible because she saw that Julie was exercising basically as in spite of you, because of you, you're rebelling, so I'm going to rebel too, and feels like she caused this. What would you do if you were Maddie and you came back and you realized Julie was dead?
I'm sad. I'm not taking responsibility.
Yeah, you can't take responsibility for other people's actions.
Like
because even if Maddie had said, exercise the entire time I'm back, it's still Julie's decision to exercise or not.
Yeah. Again, this is why I'm saying she's not in the right ward. Like, if she was in a position where she could be that self-destructive, she needed to be in a ward where she is watched much, much closer. Because that was too easy.
It's funny. Julie was the only character that I actually really liked. She was played by Vanessa Bayer from Saturday Night Live, and she was just ridiculously perky and happy.
She was great.
And had the most beautiful smile, which she does in general anyway. And she was definitely the bright light in this film for me. I liked her. I liked her character.
So I want to bring up a what would you do that happens somewhere in here. So we have Dina, hot and cold Dina.
Oh, that could be 2 hours digging into best friend Dina.
Yeah.
She's a hot mess.
Like, Dina is either your best friend or she wants to know why you have forsaken her.
Or don't forget the third version of Dina, which it seems like she has the hots for Maddie. But then she has a call with someone else who she's banging on the side and being all, hey, baby, baby. So I'm like, well, wait, I thought you had a crush on Maddie. Not to say that both can't be true, but there was almost this jealousy that Dina had. If Dina said, I'm going to spend the night with my husband or my husband's here, Dina seemed to be incredibly jealous.
Yeah. And she was trying to instill that jealousy in Maddie. By, hey, I'm going to go bang a chick. Hopefully she'll want what she can't have, even though she can have it. But here's my thing. She went so far as to medically control her condition to make it look like she too was a bulimic, so she would get checked into the same hospital.
Yeah.
That.
Well, and she had someone stain her teeth brown so it looked like she had been throwing up. And let me tell you, when they showed those teeth, they were horrifying. They were like meth teeth.
Yeah, British people would look at those teeth and go, damn, that's bad.
Sorry, anyone British who might be listening.
Yeah, so that's too much.
She was a strange
I get wanting
character.
to be friends, but that's too much.
The Dina character was oh gosh, I don't even know the word. So ridiculous throughout the entire film, the way that she acted, the way that she responded. And obviously that was by design for this film to be kind of ridiculous at times, which I realized more in hindsight than I did during the film. I'm like, is this supposed to be funny or is this supposed to be bad? Because again, felt like a film made by a bunch of kids.
Yeah, it wasn't funny when people were laughing. It's because it was so overly exaggerated to the point of ridiculousness that it could make something serious funny because it was so over the top.
Yeah, I think everyone in our theater basically lit up in the bathroom and got super high and then came into the movie because everyone in this film was laughing at things that just weren't funny. She was washing a dish. They would laugh. She'd put on her shoes. They'd laugh. Things that weren't even remotely funny. And I'm looking around thinking, okay, we must be in a theater where the actor or the director or something's friends and family are there.
Because we've done that a few times and they tend to be raucous crowds for whatever reason.
Yeah, we live in Los Angeles and sometimes we have stumbled into showings that are basically friends and family showings and not knowing it and being basically the only people in the theater who don't know someone in the film or aren't connected to the film.
Like literally it's happened at least twice where we were the only other people in the film other than friends and family of one of the actors.
Yeah, and the director or the actor at the end stays and takes pictures of everyone and they say how great they are. So I'm thinking when everyone's so over the top laughing, I'm like, okay, people associated with the film are in this theater.
I thought so too.
But then they all scattered at the end, and that's not how it generally works. People loiter, and the person who's in the film or associated with the film stands up.
Tries to get their flowers.
Yeah, but that wasn't the case. So I definitely think everyone was somehow impaired because they were laughing the entire time, and I am so confused. So
yeah, the pot. That I think that holds water. That definitely holds water.
There was a green haze over everyone's head, I think. I don't know. So...
But I just putting a bow on the Dina thing.
Yeah. I can't even open up the Dina box. It's
when
so
she starts getting
up.
So incredibly like borderline type.
Borderline what?
Somewhere between bipolar and borderline personality disorder. Like really, really violent swings. You got to separate yourself from that.
Yeah, and then she'll bounce back like, oh, what? We're friends. Oh, you're not my friend. Slam your hand through the wall. And then like, oh, hi, ha, ha. Yeah, Dina's character, I know, was written to be that way, but it did not work. She was an uncomfortable character to even be around, and I was on in the theater, not even with her.
Yeah, she was overkill.
Yeah, for sure.
She was overkill.
Yeah.
So
in the end, we find that Maddie has successfully undergone treatment. She is released back to her home. Her husband now knows she's not pregnant. It's getting rid of the crib. And she wants to go resume her runs because she used to run. And her husband says, is that okay for you to do? And she says yes, because he doesn't trust her anymore.
I do want to note one other thing previous, because you mentioned the baby. What are you, if you are Maddie, you already have an issue about your looks. You've told your husband you're pregnant. And then you come up to him and he's like, oh, I can see a little baby bump.
Oh my gosh.
Knowing that that's not a baby bump.
Oh gosh. He said that a couple times, like insinuating she was putting on baby weight. Yeah, that was a hit to the gut. Like, wow, that's...
But you can't blame him. You can't blame him for
Oh,
a
of
second.
course not. But it's basically someone in a very innocent way telling you, hey, you got a little extra on there. Whether it's intentional or not, they're telling you, hey, you look bigger. And
when you
nobody
already
wants to
have
hear
a
that
mental health disorder about that.
about your appearance, yeah.
Like,
and you're
that just,
insecure.
like, adds gasoline to that fire.
Yeah. One other thing, again, this could be a really long movie, which is or a long episode, which is why I don't want to open up the Dina box. But one final thing before we wrap up.
But Dina wanted to open everyone else's box.
Is her mother, Maddie's mother. So essentially, Maddie learned to be bulimic from her mom. Maddie's dad left both of them when she was young. Her mom said that he was disgusted by both of them. And she's like a 7-year-old kid. And she learned to be insecure about her body. She learned about bulimia from her mom. And not only did her mom teach her how to throw up, she also used the prettier version of Maddie to attract men that then she would hook up with and then lay down at her feet saying, oh, well, I'm doing this so we can find you a dad.
Yeah, I've done my best to keep the language under control for this episode, but I'm going to fail on this one. Maddie's mom was a fucking bitch.
What would you do?
And that's putting it lightly.
If I was Maddie and I hadn't blocked it out, I knew that about my mom would not be part of my life.
Oh, for sure.
Especially after having a relapse. Like, even if somehow you would manage to make peace with it, if you had a relapse and that is why you're bulimic because your mom taught you at 7 years old, that is so beyond messed up.
And then fed into the image issue. Besides just teaching her to be bulimic, like, oh, well, maybe you do need to lose some weight.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if that's the worst thing she did. It's horrible. And for one, they don't need to bring her in with the psychiatrist to learn that. It's like, you're not digging through your past. That's like framed on the wall.
Yeah, her mom definitely had issues because and this actually stemmed from the Atkins diet, which Maddie and her mom had done when she was young. And
I didn't.
I know you did. I thought of you.
Yeah, I did it solely to lose weight before a class reunion.
And they used to get meat delivered every Friday, and then they'd eat the meat, and then Maddie would throw up the meat. And for some sick reason, unbeknownst to me, in present day, Maddie's mom starts a delivery to Maddie's house every Friday again, where she gets prime steaks, and Maddie is a vegetarian.
That is the biggest fucking bitch thing that you possibly could have done. Surely that your daughter is vegetarian. I believe it was actually said out there. Like, and you know it's for ethical reasons.
Yeah, which means it's not like she's trying to be healthy. It means that she doesn't want to kill the animals and devour their flesh.
That is, like, that single act alone.
So passive-aggressive, so messed up. What would you do? I would not talk to my mom ever again. Ever.
Like, that is, like, I'm all about forgiveness and stuff like that, but there are high crimes. And for me, that's a high crime.
And it's not even
and it's deliberate.
It's not even about the moment of, I'm a vegetarian now, I'm an adult, my mom's sending me the steaks. That association goes back to when Maddie was a young girl and was on the Atkins diet and got those steaks and cooked them every Friday and threw them up. So there is so much emotional baggage associated with a meat delivery and opening up the lid and seeing the smoke from the dry ice rise.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, it's... I can't wrap my brain around that. There's a lot going on that Maddie's even still talking to her.
Yeah.
Whatsoever, when clearly her mom barely seemed to care at all.
So we went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with the mom, but that's definitely something that needs to be touched on. So what I had been talking about prior to that was the end of the film and whether or not her husband can trust her again. What would you do if you had been through that journey with Maddie and you're packing up the crib for the baby that never existed and she's going for a run and you ask, is the doctor say that's okay? Because exercise is one of those things that can be problematic. And she says, yeah. And he's basically, are you telling me the truth? Like he doesn't know what to believe anymore.
I believe what she did is solely grounds for a divorce. Like, it's not even just the lying. It's the insanely hurtful way.
About something he wanted desperately.
For me, that's just unnecessarily cruel.
Yeah.
And I can't in any way, shape, or form endorse that. So I wouldn't have a hard time trusting her because she would not be in my life. Because again, we know she has mental illness and stuff to do, but you could still fairly well choose your lie.
Yeah.
And
even in the panic of a moment, having to explain why you're hunched over the toilet throwing up, there is something better to say.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.